I'm going to go through the overview of our capstone project for financial algebra, which is meant to bring pretty much the whole semester and in many cases the whole year together. So you'll find the capstone information in the capstone project folder on Schoology, and I'm going to go into the overview and outline for the capstone project page. In this page, you're going to see a PDF file that has been added, and there's also a link to it right here. So note that this project is going to have a very negative impact on your grade if it's not completed. This is a big project. I usually count a big part of this as your final exam grade as well. So it's really going to have a negative impact if you don't do it. So obviously you want to make sure you do this. So you can scroll down here, or for our purposes, I'm going to hit the pop-out button and it's going to open it up in a new tab. This will be a lot easier for me to see it, for us to see it on the video. So I'm going to zoom in here. And the whole point of this project is to create a document and presentation, so there's two parts, that summarizes your post-secondary plans for education. So that's after high school. That's what post-secondary means. In addition to a vocation, which is a job, your housing, your utility and electronic expenses, automobile, and budget. And all that will be detailed in a spreadsheet. So we've got a couple of assumptions for you. So for this project, you're going to use current day values for salaries, housing, utilities, automobile, and other associated costs. You're going to assume that you've finished school, either trade school, college, or whatever you're going to do after high school, and you've obtained full-time employment. So you're basically in your quote-unquote career, and you've moved into your own residence without having a roommate. Most of us have what we call pie-in-the-sky hopes and dreams, which is like, hey, I want to have a huge house on water and all that good stuff. That's really great. You should have big goals and dreams. However, the purpose of this project is to make something realistic after you move out on your own. So you're going to use current information to make a report and a presentation on this. And remember, we all have issues that pop up into our lives, so consider the best possible situations for you as you move forward. All right, we're going to take a look at part one, which is the written report. It's going to look really long, and I'm going to skip through big pieces of this. First is post-secondary education. So you're going to decide on what you plan to do during your education or for education in your post-secondary years. So are you planning on going into the military? Are you planning on having your own business? Things like that. You can talk to me about it if you have some doubts or not sure. You're going to write about where you attend school if you do attend. You're going to, if you do attend school, provide details of where you're going to school, what the cost is per semester, per month, per year, that kind of thing. How long do you anticipate going? And explain why you chose the school. So as I'm going through this is basically an outline for the, quote, paper that you're going to write, which is a written report. And it's really more of a written report than a paper, but it's a written report nonetheless. If you are not attending school, explain details of why with these two elements. For job selection in part two of the written report, your job selection, I want you to pick a job that you most likely plan to pursue 5 to 7 years from now when you've completed whatever you're going to do in post-secondary education, being college, trade school, or whatever. Write about what salary you can reasonably expect to make, and we're going to get into the details of how that's going to work and how you're going to find out what those salaries might be. How would you like to get paid? Would you like to get paid weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly? And if you have a preference, tell me. What kind of gross and net income can you expect to make? This will make it easier to calculate a budget, and we can talk about the taxes at that point. And what kind of benefits are available, health care, pension, retirement plan. The third part is going to be housing. So we want to decide on what kind of housing. Now this could be a house, a condo, an apartment. Talk about square footage. You're actually going to find a property on Zillow or Trulia or any other of the real estate websites out there. You need to figure out what the specifics are, number of bedrooms, and so on and so forth. You're going to explain your decision on your financing. Where are you going to get your mortgage? What's the specific lender, not a specific bank, not just a bank. What interest rate, term, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of decisions that you're going to check down the list here. List maintenance items that will need to be addressed and how you're going to address them, like snow and lawn, electrical or repairs for electrical, plumbing. How much do you plan on saving or spending per month? The fourth part is going to be about your car. So obviously we're going to assume you're going to lease or buy a car. We're going to find something from a car ad online. We're going to have you find something. And then you're going to describe where you will lease it or whether you're going to buy it, and provide the following information. So make and model and all the other specifics. There's some stuff out there. I've included a link here for you where you can estimate the monthly and yearly auto insurance costs. And there's some details here for you as well. You can also call an insurance company and tell them you're doing a project for this class, and they'll be happy to help you out with a quote. Budget. You need to decide on monthly expenses, and I've got them all listed here for you, so all you have to do is include these in your spreadsheet, which I'm going to help you out with in a separate video. That's part B, the creating of the spreadsheet. Finally, for references. So your references, part 6, you're going to use this biography website, for bibliography, I should say, for APA style. I have a video on this, so it's pretty simple. You're going to quickly add those to a reference page, which you can do with Control-Enter. And then I've got an example report on Schoology as well. So the presentation piece, I'll go over specifics in another presentation on this, but in essence, you're going to use Google Sheets, which of course will be saved on your Google Drive, creating one slide for main headings. Make sure you minimize your text. Text needs to be large enough. I'm also going to include instructions on adding screenshots using the snipping tool or copying and pasting an image, and I'll give you some details here. Presentation is going to be 3 to 5 minutes, and make sure you're prepared to answer questions from your instructor at the conclusion of the presentation. Alright, so that's the quick outline of an overview of what this presentation is going to be all about, or this capstone project, I should say. So we'll talk about more specifics in other presentations and give you help in class, but again, the goal is to have you look at your financial life after high school and after you have your next step of education and get into more of a career type job.